My life is a welcome anytime. He said if you're alone, you can make this your home if you want to. So long, I just wanted to dance. Step out of the night, inside inside. No one coming ask me my name.
Hi, I'm Patrick Moran. We're in Central Park. The documentary is called My Love, and I'm with
My name is Miguel from Spain.
Miguel. What do you think love is? Have you ever tried to jot down what love is?
I have. I have. In fact, many times. I was a consultant. I always try to be very rational. Try to put some characteristics of love and then see if some people qualify. That's an exercise that will get you absolutely nowhere. In fact, the moment you stop down to do the exercise, it means precisely that you are not in love and you are going the wrong way. It's precisely when you don't think about it, but you just go with it, go with the flow, that you can really get a grasp of what love is, I think. That could be an approach to it.
Do you think love is a more chemical reaction in your brain, or is it a more spiritual reaction within your heart?
I think it's very spiritual. The chemical thing lasts for a few weeks. It's just the beginning, and it has been found out that it's a chemical reaction in the brain. That you release some hormones and you feel good about it. But that's only passion or emotion, and that can easily get confused with love. Love is what starts to be felt after a month. Don't ask yourself if you are in love until a month or two have gone by. That is key.
So a month or two, you'll know that you're in love, versus
Exactly.
the initial chemical, let's say, flush in your brain. Do you think that love between relationship with a soulmate or a spouse is different than parental love or sibling love?
Very, very different. Very different. There are many types of love, but I think the love that you are talking about is the love between two people that can take you to another level, to feel good about yourself.
What is that other level?
Well, to feel that you really want to spend the rest of your life with that person, and that it makes you a better person, and that you don't think about excuses not to spend the time with that person, but that you really want to spend time with that person. That is another way, another sign that there is something there called love. But again, that it's very hard to describe or put in paper.
What about love for your parents or grandparents? Have you ever lost love and felt sorrow?
No. That's not my case. But I think it's very different in any case. Love with a partner can go ups and downs, but love with your relatives will always be constant. Should be always be constant, because no matter if you hate them, no matter what they do, you will always love them, because they're your parents or your grandparents or your kids.
Would you say that's obligational love, or would you say that's just the de facto love for being related?
It's a de facto love, I think. Yeah. But there should also be ways that you have seen this love, not just because your father is your father, you should love him. It's because there has been a history of friendship, help, support, and so on. I can understand it's very hard for someone to love his dad if he has never seen his dad in his life. There has to be a history behind it.
So it's almost like an earned love from respect and appreciation.
Yes, it's a mix of things.
Rather than obligatory love.
Yes, definitely.
Very good. Is there anything else that you'd like to comment? If you say anything to the world about love or anything?
Yeah, the key is not to think about it, just to just go with it. The moment you start thinking about it, there's something wrong with it, I think.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Cedric.
We're asking about love. What is love to you?
I don't really know. Love is something unconditional. It's an unconditional feeling you have for somebody. It comes not from the brain. It's not something that's going to be rational. it's an irrational feeling, as well as unconditional.
Okay, and by you're saying unconditional, that means not with any conditions. So that would almost say that. How would you explain that?
I mean, love can be unidirectional or bidirectional, meaning that you can love somebody, but that person might not love you.
Is that real love?
Yes, yeah, that could be real love. Just because, I mean, for example, you go through a breakup, and one of the persons might still love the other one, and
has that happened with you? Do you still love someone that you broke up with?
yeah, kind of, yeah.
And what do you think that is? Do you think that's love lost, or do you think that's just a hole in your heart now?
No, not really. I mean, things change over time. Persons, people do change over time also. So at a point in time, you might love somebody, but those people, for whatever reasons, they might grow apart, and just, you know, it becomes different, and maybe love is over. I mean, also. Sorry, we have to differentiate between passion or attraction and love, right? And love is, I think it's different, and you might love somebody in terms of really caring for that person, but maybe the passion is over or so. So I mean, there are different stages of love.
Parental love, sibling love versus love for a relationship. How would you describe that as being different, or is it different?
I mean, I think it depends on the type of culture you come from. I mean, I come from a culture, I was raised in Europe. For me, it's very normal to love my parents, to love my family.
So you're saying Europe is different than the United States in terms of love?
Oh, definitely.
How so?
It's different. Asia is also different. I mean, that it's just the way you are raised, the type of values that you learn from when you're a kid. I mean, family in Europe, or family, I come from Spain and France, it's very important, and everybody lives together, and everybody, I mean, it's just something that comes with you. Whereas in the US, I think it's a bit different. Family doesn't play such an important role, I think, or it's a very different role.
Do you think that, America is different, but people do often live in one house, and you know there's problems everywhere. But I have another question for you. Do you think that a person's capable of loving once in their life, or more than once? Is there one true love, or is there more than one?
Oh, there is more than one. I mean, as I said before, people grow apart or people come together. For example, I mean, you might love, it happened to me, you might love somebody. That person went away for a project for 1 year all the way to Asia. You change, people change over time, and as you change, your type of love or the things you prefer from people will change. And again, it depends on the type of love we're talking about. There is love for friends, love for family, love for you know, a girl. It's very different type. Yeah.
What about sex, as opposed to like when you are in love?
Yeah.
The sex when you are in love, and the sex when you are not really in love, but just like attraction. What's it like? I mean, can you express any thoughts about that?
One of them is more, let's see.
Like when you
I mean,
are
the-
in love,
when
sex
you're
is
in
somewhat
love-
like, I don't know. It's outrageous, is it not?
Yes, I mean, but the other one also is. But one of them, there is more intensity into it. When you're in love, there is more intensity, and you're sharing that as well as you're sharing other things. Whether when you're not in love and it's just, you know, a physical thing, it's fun. There is lots of intensity, but there is, I'm not going to say there is something missing, because it's great also, but it's not as complete as when you're in love.
Hi, I'm Ralph.
Ralph, what to you is love?
It's really hard to define love in words, unfortunately. I always believed. Love is the most powerful force in the history of the universe. I mean, without love, who are we?
So it's a force to you, so it's not a chemical reaction in your brain, as we've heard before. It's a physical force.
Technically, yeah, it is a chemical reaction in your brain when you do, because everything starts with your brain. But love is such a general term that it's hard to define love as what do you do with love. There's different types of love. There's love for your girlfriend, there's love for your mom and dad, there's love for your kids. Love could be defined in so many ways, but it's really hard to define it. It's really weird. It's like defining life. How do you define life? What is life about? But life and love is kind of similar in that way.
Can there be life without love?
You know what? I don't think so. Do you know there was a theory, not even a theory, there was a survey done where a baby was actually born, fed, and was kept alone without even being acknowledged. And do you know that the baby died?
No, I didn't know that theory about that.
Yeah, the baby died simply because it wasn't receiving any kind of attention, any kind of love, which is what we do need. We do need love. I believe that.
Have you ever been in love?
Oh yeah.
Are you in love now?
No.
Do you think you can get over lost love?
I think over time you can, but it is hard depending on how much you were in love with the person, I think.
Has it gone away for you now, completely? Or you still feel the pangs of love?
No, not anymore. I used to when we first broke up, but over time heals.
Time heals.
Yeah.
So,
I have a question. If love is such a beautiful thing, right? And yet we still somehow withdraw from love, right? Why? Why would you like what? I mean, isn't love somewhat about compromise? You have to like.
True,
together,
but love
right?
is also very powerful, and people can be intimidated with love. You know, receiving love could also be very intimidating because then you feel you have to reciprocate that same kind of love. So it's very powerful. Love is a very powerful thing, and it's not something that should be even used lightly. It's a very powerful word, and it's a very powerful force that we all feel to one degree. You know, whether it's for friends or for your girlfriend or for your mom and dad. And love is very powerful.
In other words, if like one in the two is taking advantage of love, then that is the reason why the other has to.
Yeah, that can be
because it's like there's no way love can exist in such a way because it's freeing, right? It's like liberating.
It is liberating, but like I said, you know, love shouldn't have to be score keep. You know, I mean, if I'm giving someone so much love, I shouldn't have to expect the same type of love, the same amount of love from that person.
That would be conditional. That would be conditioned.
That would be conditional love.
Right,
love should be unconditional.
Yeah, I said that there's loads of different loves, loads of different kinds of loves. I find it kind of difficult to show my love, but I think it's quite difficult to show love because it's invisible anyway.
Right. It's nothing you can only feel it. You cannot express it.
Exactly.
But can you somehow articulate it? Have you been in love yourself?
I've been in love.
Right.
Well,
What's it like
the thing is, you never know when you're in love because you believe that you could be in love, and when it's over, you say, well, that wasn't love, or it could have been love. You're still not sure if it was love. But if you really do know, when you really do know that you was in love, is when the person has gone and you still had feelings for them, and there's no bad feelings, there's all good feelings, and you want them to do well still, even if they've done you harm. That's love. Love is something which you want no harm or no malice or no ill feelings to come towards that what you love. That's why I say love is the embodiment of, and it could be in anything. It could be your love for a tree, it could be a love for your work, it could be a love for your woman, it could be your love for your car.
Are you in love right now?
I'm in love with my work.
What is your work?
I mess with the digital media. I'm like a designer. So
Graphic designer?
Yeah, so I enjoy my work. I love my work.
Photoshop is your
everything, yeah.
girlfriend, so.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, I mean, I love my work. There are women I still love, even though I'm not with them. I'm you know, it was a pleasure to have known them and been with them. They taught me a lot, and I love them for that. They helped me to develop, you know. And there's this love, like we say, you know, it's a feeling. So therefore, it's not a superficial thing where you look at someone and look how they look, see if they look good, they look dressed good, or this and that. It's a connection, it's a chemistry, And when you get old and everything, the chemistry's still there. The looks may be gone, everything else might be gone, but that chemistry's still there, and that's what I call love. Love is a chemistry thing.
It's a chemistry thing.
Yeah, it's more of a chemistry, and you
Can
can.
the person love another more than 2-3 years? I mean, can love last longer than 2-3 years? I mean, have you noticed that like when it's actually true love, the person being in love cannot sustain being in love more than 2-3 years
Love,
because
it's painful.
it's just painful, right?
Love is
So much
painful.
stress.
Love is painful. It's a
So-
hard. It's a hard thing to sustain because of the journey, the pushing and pulling, the fighting. Love is tragic.
And
Because
compromise.
why love is mostly tragic, because everything comes to an end. So because of that fact that everything comes to an end, that it's going to be a tragic that one of the loves will be gone. And that's the tragic thing about love. But the beauty of love is just experiencing it and being in love at least once, and then at least you lived, even if it's for a moment. If you experienced it for a moment, that's a life's worth living for that moment alone.
But when you are not in love, is it actually living or is it suffering?
When you're not
Would
in
you
love,
consider that living or suffering?
I don't call it living, for one. If you're not in love,
What's that?
I will say you're existing.
Existing, but not living. Because primarily, when you are in love, it's like living life to the fullest.
You're living
It's
life.
like a dreamer kind of approach,
Well, it's
right?
euthanasia. It's a high. It's a natural high, isn't it? It's
Right. It's like you are high naturally,
naturally
with no substance.
with no substance. And I mean, what more could you ask for? If you can live life feeling a high every day, you wake up, you're looking next to you, your wife's there, and you're feeling all these feelings for you, like you just took the best drug in the world or whatever or stuff. That's love, and love is something you can't buy. You can't buy off the street like any other
Right.
drug. It's a hard commodity to come across, and it's becoming very rare in this day and age. With the pressures of work, money, and women and men, and what we do.
Do you
Love.
think falling in love nowadays is harder than, say, 100 years ago? Or, I mean, was life more romantic back in those days, or it's pretty much the same? Like time doesn't change anything.
I think it's pretty much the same. I mean, the environments have changed. The structure's still the same. Yeah, your heart beats. You fall for someone, and you chase them to the end of the earth and do anything. Anything for them without even thinking. Without using your intelligence or reason.
Right,
you
right.
follow your heart.
Even silly things.
And
yeah.
it's the same method which is used today, but it's just a different environment, different structure, and our intelligence level may have risen, but our heart still stayed the same over these generations, and that's what guides our love, our true love.
We're in Central Park, and I'm with.
Do we have to give our real names?
You can give any name
All right,
you'd like.
We're going to say Audrey and Peter.
Audrey and Peter. And the question is, what do you think love is?
What do you think love is, Peter? I'll let you speak.
Getting along every single day with no friction and respecting the person you are with. That to me is love.
Am I safe to assume that this lovely couple here is in love?
I'd say we've been in love, and for practically half a century, more than that. We have known each other since we've been in the 7th grade.
Oh,
And
that's
we
wonderful.
are octogenarians now, so that's a long time.
Oh.
No, ours is an old-fashioned story, so and it's very nice. I also think that friendship is about one of the most important. You have to really work at it too. That's like you do anything else.
Just give them a little history
No.
of how we met.
Well, we
I
met
think
in the
it's
7th
important.
grade.
But why?
Well, it's sort of a soap opera story. No, my mother had died, and it was a long, long time ago, and I was I had to leave the home we had been in, and I went to live with an aunt. And at that time in history, his family had lost their money. I had lost my mother. They had lost their money, and he was moved to the same school that I was transferred to. And we met then, and then we were friends all through high school, and more than friends, and we stayed friends, and we were reunited after many years, and we've been married now over 50 something years. So that's a long time love story.
Hi, this is Ian again, and we got
Curtis, 34, from the Caribbean.
which part of the Caribbean?
St. Kitts.
St. Kitts. So, can you tell us, have you ever been in love?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Why do you think so?
No, I just think I was too immature to understand or appreciate it at the time. That's all.
Do you believe that you have to be a particular age or experience to understand love?
No. When I said I was too immature, it wasn't referring to an age. I just referring to a mindset, a mentality.
Oh, you never realized that you was in love, or you wasn't ready for love?
I wasn't ready for it. I was just immature. You know?
So you believe that love is something you have to be ready for?
No, I believe that it's something that you have to have the mindset to recognize. There's sometimes when you just, you're in a different frame of mind, and it's contrary to that state of mind.
Do you believe that you can ever recognize when you're in love?
Yeah.
Because personally, I've always failed to recognize that I've been in love, even in the later stages.
Really?
Yeah, really. I mean, you realize it when the person's gone usually.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. But I think, I guess, I just think that when you're really in love, you'll know it. And when the person's gone, if you didn't recognize it when the person was there, and then the person leaves, and then you recognize it, it's not really love, really. It's just that you miss something that you had. Something that you had is gone, and you miss it. But that don't necessarily mean it was love. Because if it was love, you would have known it at the time.
How? That's what I'm saying. How do you know it? I mean, how do you know it?
It's a feeling.
But you have these feelings when you thought you was in love. That's what I mean. I have the same. I don't know which feeling is the feeling. If that's the case.
I just think that it's kind of like, when you're with somebody and they complete you and you complete them. It's like that. It's that phase where you have to be. You feel like you have to be with them.
Do you believe that sometimes causes pressures? Because you have that feeling of you wanting to be with this person all the time, not realizing that it could be suffocating that person with love as well.
Yeah, but I think that if you're in love, it's not necessarily of, you want to be with them, you want that person in your life, but not necessarily that you need to have them in your life 24/7. I think that's where it's more obsession than love. Because I think love allows both parties to A, appreciate the time together, but B, give each other the space to be full and complete individuals as well.
In other words, each of the couple is completely independent.
Yeah,
that's the only way you can be in love. In other words, that's what love is, when you are free yet together.
Yeah.
It's a strange analogy in the sense that almost impossibility, because you have to be separated but together.
No, it's not really that, in my opinion. It's just, I think it has to do with the fact that you have to be an individual. Okay, it's like you can be with somebody and you need them, you have to have them, but it's not really love. It's like an obsession. It's like either you don't want to be alone, or there's a million different reasons why people feel a certain way about people, and it's not really love. They're not really motivated by love. They're motivated by their own selfish reasons. The selfish reasons having to do with they don't want to be alone, or they physically want this person because it's a beautiful woman and they're great in bed, or whatever the number of reasons are, so they want to have that person. but it's not necessarily about love, because it's not necessarily about the two people involved. It's about one person's wanting to have this person all to themselves all the time or whatever. But I think if you're in love, then you enjoy being together, but then you also have your individual lives, so you can go away from each other and come back. You know what I mean? It's like you're not completely defined by it, but at the same time, it just makes you feel. It's different. It's difficult to explain.
Can you seek out love? I mean, is love something to be sought after?
It's something to aspire to, but I don't think you can necessarily. It happens. You're all
just spontaneous.
Yeah, I mean, you meet somebody and maybe you're not even thinking about love or anything. You just happen to pick up somebody and you start hanging out with them, and then stuff happens, and next thing you know, you realize, wait a second, when I meet this person, there's this feeling, and then when I'm not, it's not.
Hi, it's Ian again from London, doing the documentary on What is Love. And we have Charlotte and Robert here, sitting on the bench in Central Park. Either of you, can you define love to us, or what love is?
What is love? Confusion. Love is the inability to settle on any single term to describe a great amount of affection. And one is lost in one's confusion for the other and needs to be with the other to reconcile that confusion, to make sense of these confused emotions. What do you think?
Well, I didn't understand that, but I would say that to be loved is to have someone who is your champion.
Bravo. So I am her champion and she's my champion.
I feel that I'm learning something new all the time when I speak to a different person. I feel from that, I mean, the best thing I heard from your conversation and your statement, what you said is this giving to each other, the compliment what you just gave to your friend, your partner, your husband,
one time,
champion.
If I can jump in. Well, in fact, one time when we were seeing each other, and then I decided it'd be better that we broke up. And so we went to break up, went to Dasavano to break up, and then Charlotte said something to the effect of, well, I don't think we should break up. I think we have more to give one another. And I was so impressed by someone who said, I have more to give to you, as opposed to the women I knew who had much to take from me, that I said, well, I better stay with this woman.
I think that's the kind of woman I'm kind of looking for. You know, as someone where we can share, as in like support each other, uplift each other when one's down, the counterbalance, you know. And that, I think that's what love is. That's what keeps it going. That's what keeps the perpetual motion going. Is when one's down and the other's up, it lifts up the other one, and it keeps that motion and momentum going. And it's the giving from each other which keeps it turning, you know. And I think that's the most important thing in love: giving respect, giving time, and giving, just giving.
Right. I have a question for you guys. Is this your first love? I mean, were you in love before, or did you think it was love? I mean, well, can you?
I would say this is a mature love. Yeah, I mean, I think that.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, mature love is hanging in there when you get so angry at that person, you know, that you realize that the two of you together is bigger than the two of you separately.
So you compromise?
I wouldn't say compromise, but you come to an understanding.
Yeah, definitely this whole idea of love is a good model for the whole being greater than the sum of its parts. When love is there, you take the two of us, but somehow we transcend the limits of two, or you know, the gifts of two, to become this larger entity. And yeah, I like the idea of mature love, because you know, I had been in love and deeply in love and madly in love with other women, and then settled on love. But love is a more constructive.
Settled on love.
Yes, but not settled in the sense of like I've settled for less, but rather settled on the idea of all those good things.
Tell me something about sex. Is sex when you are in true love, as opposed to when you are just, I don't know, with a girlfriend or something like that? is there a difference? I mean, can you tell us like what sex has to bring when you are in love?
Well, I would say it has to do with the post-coital experience. The idea is, having made love, you want to stay and make love again,
Yes.
and afterwards you want to wake up with the person
Yes.
you're making love with.
Yes.
So you must see a lifetime of making love.
Yes.
I would
So it
agree.
actually fuels sex.
Yes, yeah.
Being in love. I'm talking about spiritual love. You know, when you love
Exactly.
the
It
person.
transcends the physical. The physical, like physical love, for better or for worse, familiarity, and it may not be as exciting as making love in a dumpster as you did as a youth, or against a tree as you did as a youth. But the idea that love transcends, and you want to make love again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to fall in love in each other's arms after you make love, and you want to go to bed afterwards together and wake up with each other. But in terms of the excitement, raw naughtiness of love, no, that belongs to another case of love.